Hello, and welcome to an extremely quick and dirty behind-the-scenes video for A Very SymphonX-Christmas, or A Very SymphonX-mas. This took way too long to make, so I'm very sorry it was a little bit late. Everyone was scrambling, and everyone has real lives, unfortunately, as much as you would probably not assume that from my demeanor. I'm booting up After Effects right now, and we're going to have a look at the project. This is almost entirely done in After Effects. The only things that weren't done in After Effects were a couple changes in Audacity on my end, and of course, all of the art and stuff was done in an art program and not by me. If you watch the original video first, there'll be an iCard up in the top right, and let's get started. So, this is After Effects. If you don't know what After Effects is, it's not meant for this. It's not an animation program. It's meant really for compositing effects onto actual footage, like video footage. But people have used it for a lot of stuff in the past. So this is the finished comp, as you can see. This is everything put together in one long scene. So here we have, down here are all the spotlight sound effects I added, just because I felt like we really needed those. Here we have crowd noise I added to the beginning. Now the thing about After Effects is we can't just play video in After Effects. If you hit play, it stutters a lot. It starts slowing down because it's not meant for that. That's just not what it's for. So, but here we have each comp, and we'll go into them all. But they all get assembled here. So this is the output. This is what I rendered out. This took 4 hours to render. This was about 60 hours worth of editing. So we may as well just go in order. So this is the intro scene. These are all the comps over here. I have everything in folders. So we have comps. We have art that was from DDLC, which I used for the Mr. Grinch and Santa Baby segments. We'll get to those. These are like stock images. These are all the OCs. These are screenshots I was using for reference. These are all just the solids. So this is stuff like just like blank colors that I used. This is video that we were using. This is the stuff for Santa Baby and Mr. Grinch that I have in separate folders just to keep them all organized. And any audio I just left out. So if we go to comps, we can go to the intro ad-lib. This was all. It says Ad-Lib, but it was actually scripted. I can actually show you guys. Oh, shouldn't show you guys that, should I? Blur that, maybe? I don't know, there's nothing there, actually. Never mind. I can show you the Ad-Lib script. So we all went into a Google Doc one day. Momo did all the audio editing for this, so we all basically sent her us saying these lines. And these were compiled into this. So we have this is an interesting comp. So the way it works is each person has two I don't know how to layers. They have a dark layer, which is what you see here. And then I have a control layer which opens up the curtain. So you can see if you open up the curtain, the actual people are behind it, and we just use masks for that. So these curtains have masks that follow them. There's also a spotlight in the scene, so if we turn that off, you see that vastly changes the feel of the scene. That I don't know what this does. What does this do? Anything? Nope, nothing. Cool. So this is actually a 3D scene. So if I go into here, you can't really tell because everything's on the same Z plane. But the floor, that's what makes light work in After Effects, is you need 3D scenes. One of the people weren't 3D, so if you notice a problem with that, that's why. I was extremely rushed towards the end of this. It wasn't even out on time, but I spent about 2 weeks working on this. It wasn't great. We plan on not doing that next time. Basically, if I move one of these people, so say Joseph, I'm joking, his name's Joseph, and we move him around, you see both the shadow version and him move around. And that's for everyone. Everyone does that. So, Lucy, right here, I can... Oh, shit. I am clicking the wrong song. I move this one. You can see the shadow and him move around simultaneously. And then I just wiggled everyone around using expressions and told them to stop after 50 seconds. And that's literally it. So this is, After Effects, you can write little bits of code that tell things what to do, and we'll be seeing that more later. This actually took about 5 hours for me to learn how to get all the masking to work. But I'm not a professional. I'm basically making this up as I went along. This scene is its own, just basically that. Let me close these so we don't get any spoilers. The next song up is Deck the Halls. For Deck the Halls, it's literally just a little scene here. Easter eggs are this clock is functional. If I go into the clock scene, you'll see I've written a little expression that moves the second hand around, and the minute hand follows it. I know... Excuse me, I'm a little bit sick today. I had no reason to do that, it just felt fun. Door opens, everyone's outside, there's a snow effect here, which I use almost everywhere. This is just a CC snowfall. Let me unlock it. This is literally just a CC snowfall effect, and I put this basically everywhere. And another Easter egg here is the snow at their feet actually rises as the song goes on. If you didn't catch that in the thing. And then the lyrics are literally basically the same thing you saw over there. A lot of keyframes that just change that. And so Deck the Halls is one of the more simpler songs. After Deck the Halls this is also a very simple song, I think, to at least animate. Was All I Want for Christmas Is You. He's got like a nice little background here, and Momo and Leo just move around. Basically. Well, this is one of the more simpler ones, and unsurprisingly, one of the ones I did last. Jingle Bell Rock, I enjoy. There's a thing you can do in After Effects called keyframe from audio, and it makes a keyframe that you can adjusts to how loud the audio is right now, which is extremely helpful for animating things to match audio. So I have an adjustment layer here that has some effects on it. Has unique glitch, unique camera shake, and unique chromatic aberration. And that's what gives it this effect once the dubstep bit kicks in that matches the music. And the next song as well has that, which is Let It Snow. As you can see, After Effects is not very good at just playing video, especially because I'm recording right now. But this was also an extremely simple song. Next it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas, which I just decided this is a very subdued song. I thought it would be nice to have just them walking down a snowy path with some a nice like regal-ish looking font. I think this is the first instance of breath smoke, which you'll see in a lot of shots that are meant to be set during winter. This is just a particle world effect that I adjusted to look a bit more like, the condensation your breath causes when you're breathing in the winter. I may have gone a little bit overboard with it in some points, to be honest. So these scenes are a mixture of a bunch of comps. This is Santa Baby. And each one of these is its own comp, each character, and then it does a transition between them. The lyrics are actually its own layer. I didn't want to do that per comp, so these are its own layer. And then each person, let's go with Momo, because she has an interesting effect on hers. She has a bit of a Monica-style glitch for 5 frames, maybe, which I thought was cool. The text boxes came in. These were all submitted by the singers. This is basically a direct rip to the original video, but I liked the idea so much I didn't want to pass it up. So we did it. I don't really have to show you Grinch because it's the exact same one. Maybe it's cold outside. This took way too long. So this took like an hour to render, just this scene, because there are 4 lights in it. And if I turn them all off, you can see them pop in turn. This ambient light is what gives it like a little dark room. We put a spotlight on the scene. And then the fire needed a light to cast on the floor, and this has a wiggle effect to it on its intensity, so that it flickers a little. And then there's a second firelight cast on the fireplace to make it look like the fireplace is glowing. And then every OC was in this scene. And this scene is in full 3D. So if I go to this view, you'll see the floor, the wall, the fireplace, and the characters are all on different Z layers, which is basically how deep it is. The fireplace comp is pretty simple. It's literally a couple lights, this fireplace background, or foreground, I guess, some bricks, and some green screen fire that I loop. And that's literally it. Unfortunately, I couldn't do a lot more with this. I tried making my own fire, and it looked really bad. So this was probably the hardest one to do. These lyrics are pretty intense as well, because I did every word on their own. Especially for things like these, you have to do these individually. So you see all these text boxes off to the side. Starting from the beginning, there's like a crap ton of text boxes everywhere on this scene. Next up, after that, after Baby It's Cold Outside, is Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas, which I wanted to be kind of subdued. Have yourself a merry little Christmas. So these are actually their own comps. There was no reason for me to do this. It was just easier. This is not a real light. This is actually just a circle with a blur effect on it. And it's just a black background. And some lights. I played a lot around with lights this time around because I really wanted to learn about lights. I found it was a good opportunity. And also, I thought it looked good. So this scene...
You know what, do.
I will break your Nico kneecaps.
So that is just a little 6-second interlude. They had something similar in the original video, but it's different wording. We did our own. Coming to Town is our last song, but split into 2 separate, distinct sections. This section is a lot more classic SymphonX. It's a visualizer and the OCs, except they're moving around a bit more than they usually would in a SymphonX video. The little spin in that you get in this one is actually rendered outside of the comp. So this little, that, during the telling you why, that spins in. Now this scene is pretty cool. This is our last quote-unquote scene. There are again 2 lights, but this time we also have a 3D camera. So if I again do this, you'll see that this scene is actually 3D, and in fact there's so much 3D that it's not all shown on the screen. The only thing not 3D in this scene is this blue background, which is literally just a blue background. This building is its own comp. I'll show you why in a minute. There's a bunch of breath smoke in here. I realized one of the breath smokes are in the wrong place. I didn't have time to fix that. And there's a bunch of snow in this scene as well. Mainly because, actually, we'll start with the neon lights. So the neon lights are an interesting comp. It's literally just that, but I had to write an expression to make that glow work. And this is that expression. If you're interested, this is the expression that does it. The way I'm doing that is I have this, which I put in the BPM I want it to pulse at, and it does the rest of the math. Based on... Oh. It's not going to let me see it. No, it does. It literally just divides it by itself, and then divides it by BPM divided by 60. 1 over that. And then it blinks at that rate. The song is at, 165 BPM. I set it to 82.5, so it would blink half as fast as that. Because if I set it to 165, you'll see it's very fast and kind of distracting. These are all just shape layers. You can see I also put little like wires here. These are just pen tools. And it blinks. So that's that. Then, so that's throughout this scene. It says here. And then there's the punch-ins. So I think right around here, the camera swoops into Momo and a spotlight shines on her. And then the camera pans over to, I believe it's Lucy. Is it Lucy? No, that's Leia. Leia? I never asked how you pronounce that. Leia, if you're watching this, let me know. And then after that, that's basically it. We fade out. Oh yeah, the ball drop. So the ball drop is its own comp, called Ball Tower. If I can find it, there it is. It's actually a very tall comp, because it's the entire tower. We have the SymphonX logo on it. And then at the right time, that 2020 ball drops and some particles get shot off of it. I thought that looked pretty nice. This is it in its full glory. The ball looks kind of weird in 2D, because I needed it to look like an actual ball once you're panning up at it. And then it's just the outro. The outro is literally the Coming to Town 2 scene. I duplicated it and got rid of everyone but Momo, and then rescaled it a bit. That's it. That's the entire thing. It took about 60 hours of work. Thank you so much for allowing me the opportunity to edit this. I really appreciate it. If you have any other questions or want to know anything else about how I edit videos for SymphonX, just ask in the comments. I'll be checking them out every now and then. Or ask in the original SymphonX video, which again is going to be in the description or also in the iCard. Thank you so much for watching. This is DigiDuncan, signing out.